So you called the
Exciting.
meeting to order at 7:30.
Indeed, I did.
My new space, my
No.
folder. This is good. Hi.
Just dues, schedule of bills payable, with all that stuff. That's your fact, certification, good Lord. Good Lord. All right, so I think the first order of business is to elect chairman for the year, or officers, I should say. And I will start off by saying that I will serve, but I would prefer not to. So if someone else would be willing to step up. I would be quite willing to turn over chairmanship. Just my time has gotten more and more called upon. And so I don't feel like I'm giving it due justice, and I know that I haven't met with our town administrator yet. And the River Bridge Working Group, so just all of it is just not. I'm just not having time for it, so. Having said that.
Well, I'm fine if, I could do it if nobody else wants to do it. I have done it before, but at the same time, I'm not gonna be anybody's way if they want to, do it themselves. So if you're-
We can arm wrestle, but I actually have no interest.
Okay.
In arm wrestling or the job? Or both?
We're being recorded, so.
Okay. All right, that's fair enough. How about you, Julie? How do you feel about things?
I am happy if somebody else does it.
Scott, sounds like,
I'm not even offering.
sounds like someone has volunteered to be the new chairman. And I would entertain a motion do I need a motion on that? Or just a vote?
I will make a motion that we nominate Scott Schultz to be chair for the coming year.
Second that.
All right. Do we need any further discussion? Think so, all those in favor?
I,
Thank you, Scott. This is all for you.
that's all I had to do was show you the
Yeah.
paper.
So that is part of why I didn't do anything as far as meeting and doing that sort of stuff, so. It's just because I didn't envision this happening tonight, so, and we would have gotten together last week, except we had our
Mhm.
technical difficulties, so. Anyway, hi, I'm Stan.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
Hi, Kristen, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
This is Julie
Hi,
and Mary and
Julie.
Scott. I don't know if you know everybody already, but
Met Julie, met Mary, and
Okay.
Scott haven't met you. I don't
Yes,
think.
I was here, last week at.
Thursday, coffee
Yes,
talk.
coffee talk.
My
excellent. Well, I'm the
apologies.
only one that was missing, and here I am, so
There were a lot of
welcome.
faces. Thank
Welcome,
you very
welcome.
much.
So I don't have any, I don't think we had much of an agenda. I know that we had June on at 7:45. But I don't know, what else we need to discuss. I think we probably have a,
We should
would we
probably,
need elect a vice and a secretary as well, right? Do we need to do that, or do we?
We're finance, we don't do vice here.
Well, you were officially vice
Yeah.
prior, right? So I would
Right,
be
you
very
were.
willing to be the alternate if there's a meeting that you are not able to attend and you need someone to run it. Absolutely, I can certainly do that and make myself available to do that. So if that works for folks, we can just swap roles for you.
Okay, do we need a vote on that then?
Yes, I don't remember if I think we vote for all officers.
Yeah, probably.
I think we do.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'll nominate Stan as the vice chair person. of the-
Second that.
Are you doing the?
I was gonna say, it's up to you now to do the roll call.
Oh, yes, I guess it's any more discussion?
Oh, you're ready to just throw these
Alright.
papers right over.
Yes, we'll do a roll call. All those in favor,
I,
All right.
Now we do the formality of Julie being our.
like, I
If she's-
can't,
if
like, I
she's
can't
willing
back
to serve-
out.
if she's willing to serve her, we'd like to elect Janet in her, since she's not here to complain. That's always an option, that you elect the person who's not here to do the dirty job.
I know,
It's-
that's why I showed up tonight.
Ah.
I'm willing to keep doing that. The clerk work. As long as you don't make me have to speak at town meeting.
That I can assure you, we don't have. Unfortunately.
I will get up and talk for you if it ever
Yes.
comes up.
Yeah,
Look at that, Mary, stepping right up to the plate, good job by you. Good
Pinch
job
hitter.
by you.
I need
That's
very
right.
specific roles, so,
so it's
I
not-
don't know if we need a vote on the pinch hitter
we
idea,
need
but
a-
yeah.
I love
So
it.
renomination, motion,
I,
Why do we make motions now? Go ahead, though.
I
Cause I'm not prepared. I'll second.
vote to nominate Julie as our clerk for the committee this afternoon.
Second.
all right, any more discussion? I think we've covered that already,
Think so.
all right, those all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. All right, so that nitty gritty business is done.
Okay, so the thing I was gonna say is, we have to decide our meetings going forward.
Right.
If we wanna get set up and do it can go back to do it by Zoom or being in person.
Well, this is all stuff from last year. This is all paperwork we didn't actually deal with last year. We just got what we do. Yes, that is true, Julie, we do all that.
Well, for myself, I'm fine, in person, but I think be nice to have the option, the Zoom for people to be able to make it if they are not able to physically be here, but
Mhm.
they'll have 5 people here as much as possible. So I think it'd be nice to have, ideally be in person if you can, but yet have the Zoom up also, so that need be, any member can just call in.
Yeah, I tend to wander a bit, Scott, so it would be good for my purposes if we.
Yeah.
Um,
For everybody, I think.
I'm fine if we're gonna do Zoom and in person. If somebody else can be responsible for making sure we're set up like we are today. With the laptop and the connection, because I have classes all day, like I just get over here, don't really have time to make sure we're set up.
So if we have a Zoom link,
Yeah.
somebody has to start recording, is that the idea?
Well, the problem is open meeting law, we have to post that Zoom link 48 hours in advance.
We have to post it in person 48 hours in advance, right?
Yeah,
So if.
but if somebody's saying, oh, I'm not gonna make it,
I guess Coffee Talk didn't go as well as they had hoped. As far as doing the hybrid as of right now.
so we should pick one or the other, is what you're saying?
Was that
Yes.
because it was a large group or is it just generally bad?
No, you don't have the volume. You really need to have it run through like a television, so there's another piece of technology that kind of
Yeah.
needs to be added in.
Mhm.
Because, and it wasn't so much for the audience, it was more for the board members, like Chris had a really hard time because she had to like raise her hand and no one could hear her when she was trying to say things from the audience. So she felt like as a board member, she couldn't really participate until she was called on. So there were times she wanted to jump in and she had a really
Mhm.
difficult time communicating. I actually have that on my list to do, to speak to Brittany, and see if,
Mhm.
what that would take to get, because ideally you'd want it on like this TV
Mhm.
with speakers where you can really interact with folks. The computer is just, it doesn't have the volume or the
So you
capability.
need a microphone beyond the box. microphone.
Yes, and you need it to really be projected on a large screen where everybody in here can also see, because you folks looking at here, you may not be able to see the people that are speaking, and
Mhm.
you also need someone to run the meeting, because you're either going to have some people be promoted so they can be shown as panelists and speaking. And then sometimes if there's a speaker, you need to promote them to a panelist so they can speak. So
Yeah.
you kind of need someone who has familiarity with that, technology as well.
So probably not, don't try to do hybrid, but,
Well, I think at least to me, the only thing I've heard is the negative was the the sound issue, because I think, I mean, if we do virtual, which we've been doing most the last
Mhm.
2 years, you've been having to be that monitor person, right?
Well,
You've been
I've been
controlling it.
relying on people like June because I'm also taking notes. And I can't, it is hard because you're trying to manage a meeting, you take notes, and then people are jumping in and out. And so I've been lucky that other people have said, oh, it looks like somebody else popped in. Because you can't always see everything when you're focused on one side. So that's like going back to like having help running the
Cause I mean,
setup.
normally, Roger would be here,
Yeah,
you know,
Right,
filming
so-
this, so it'll be, and then pretty much right now, that's all we're using this for, is just for recording. It's not actually a Zoom link
mhm.
where people can sign in and come in on it. This is just for the actual recording right now, where Roger is.
Right, so-
tape it.
I assume that we record these kinds of meetings just for the public benefit. There's no legal, we're not doing any legal requirement. This is something that
Yeah,
either
it's
town
just-
administrator or select board has said,
Yeah.
we'd like to do this, make it
Actually,
available.
Cable folks,
Yeah.
The cable folks.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
they like to have as much programming, I think, as they can for the public on town meetings.
They're actually really good. Their stuff is like, it seems as soon as they get the files, they've got it up. So,
Okay.
I mean, I would say probably we can continue to look into doing it, it's just right now it's not ideal, as in expecting people to actually be able to zoom in.
I was gonna say, so we're not gonna have anyone joining our meeting via the computer. This could just be, we posted this as an in-person meeting, so it's only gonna be anyone who would be
The actual,
Be physically,
tonight.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, this is just recording it. It's
Yeah.
not actually open to the public.
so going forward, is it better if we book both a room space and the channel space for our dates? Because then once we start the budget hearing, assuming it may actually be easier to get some of the budget done if we have the option of going to Zoom, even though it's preferable to be able to meet people in person.
You can, it's just a matter of,
And
making
then,
sure that everybody
but-
has access.
and then making sure the week before like, by that Friday, we double check and determine if we need to be in person or on Zoom. How does that sound?
Well, what's your concern, or what is why are you feeling like it might be easier to do the budget on Zoom?
Oh, it's like, cause some of the meetings are gonna be in December and January, and like, if the weather's bad and
Okay.
it's hard for people to get in.
So
If
now
we have-
we might have better participation if it's,
Well, what happens is if we have like everybody queued up and we can't hold a meeting or people
Yeah.
can't make it, we're gonna get everybody
yeah,
crammed at the end.
that's a good point.
And this, I think, gives the presenters also a second opportunity, because if they can't make it in person,
Right,
they can meet with us. It would basically just give everybody more flexibility to make sure we can stay on track.
I'm trying to
the
think, I
deadline.
think he, Capital
Mhm.
had actually done that one time, but it was really hard because if you advertise as both,
Yeah,
you have to have somebody come here and set up the Zoom link in case somebody shows up to do the live.
well, no, what I was thinking is that, my concern is that we have to plan in advance to have access to the channel.
Yeah, you
So,
have to decide. I think,
so if we could get booked out for the channel for all our meetings, okay? Plan to be in person. But if somebody tells me by the Friday before, like, we're not gonna have quorum, or we're not gonna be able to meet in person, we can switch it to a Zoom meeting.
Oh, I see. what
And
you're
then we would
saying.
have, we would
Actually
be
plan
meeting our
to
open
person.
meeting law requirement, because we would be giving, if I did that by the Friday and we meet on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I think as long as you made the final decision by like Monday, right?
Yeah.
I would say
So-
by Friday, because
I
we,
agree.
we have to notify everybody attending.
Yep.
And I think that's fairer to give people more advance notice. Plus sometimes if you have a Monday holiday, they'll also throw off your, cause
Yeah,
that
your
doesn't
posting.
count,
Yeah.
doesn't count for
so
your
just plan
posting.
on the Friday to give it a bit more option.
Yeah,
We
and-
have 3 Zoom channels actually, so there
Yeah.
shouldn't be a problem, even if 48 hours in advance you had to switch it to a Zoom.
Yeah, But if we had it locked in as the same one, it'd be easier for me. If I have to go in and make the change, I just know exactly what I'm doing. As opposed to having to double check with getting which
Right.
channel we're on. That was what I think, last year they did, was they gave us all the same for the entire,
Yeah, it made it a lot easier for me too.
yeah, it was, yeah, because
It
we,
was all over.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could click on that one link that was always the same one.
yeah,
I think Mary could set that up and you just block the time and then let her know right
Mhm.
before, so she can cancel the Zoom. You
Yeah.
know, just free up the space in case
Yeah.
somebody else
Well-
would need it.
well, we would know by that Friday,
Perfect.
yeah, so she would know by Monday if,
Yeah, I guess, I mean, we try to target, especially for people knowing whether they're available, we can use Monday as a cutoff if it's weather related. Because obviously
Yeah.
you might not know if we see something that, so people can stay on track,
yeah,
that if we see on, over the weekend, it's been announced that, 12 inches of snow on Wednesday, we can change it and yet get our meeting done.
yeah.
Well, I can walk here, it's not an issue. I have skis.
I was just gonna say, you put on the ski boots. no?
All downhill for me, I can just toboggan, I can just.
It's the getting back home.
Oh, what's the snow business?
I have to get back.
In Florida or something?
I grew up in Wisconsin, so,
Oh, geez.
No excuse.
but we know others will,
Then
You know.
you can drive. I'll walk and you can drive.
Cause then that way you can drive me back up the hill with my toboggan. And I'll just attach the toboggan to your bumper and I'll still ride it, but.
hey, coffee talk, I walked here. Of course, I needed a ride to get back home, because I wasn't gonna walk down South Street in the dark.
Mhm.
No,
Yes.
that's not smart.
I took the sidewalk to BMS and that's all the farther I was going.
Yeah,
Well, so it looks like then, so. Yes, do you want to contact Mary then about having?
Yeah.
Standby Zoom link,
Mhm.
and we'll assume that we'll always assume with a posting that we're meeting in person.
we will assume, so we'll assume in person.
Assume in person, and, people, when we have as we have our schedule, just give us a heads up about,
Mhm.
your availability as far as you can. And we'll, make sure, and ideally on Friday, we can, to, readjust to, make sure we have a quorum, and also ideally, I like to see,
Mhm.
as many people here as possible.
Mhm.
I have all-wheel drive, so I'm coming no matter what.
It's
We'll
required
do
for
that.
Okay, yeah,
I will be.
It's mostly downhill, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mostly downhill.
And I'll go slow.
Where do you,
I'm a diehard New Englander, I can do it.
where do you live?
Leominster.
Now, she
That's
says
good
this, the next thing, they'll let a snowstorm that takes down the tree and blocks her whole
Yeah,
driveway.
yeah.
Well, I was gonna say,
Wheel drive.
you know,
But you have a chainsaw too.
notwithstanding actually.
Probably.
Jane, do we have a cot for her here?
I'm thinking a yoga
Yeah,
mat
we
even,
can
just
do
roll
it.
up in the back of the office.
We have.
Then you guys need chiropractic.
We do have dogs. Yes, we do.
Perfect.
But you don't have to go into the jail cell, right?
No.
I'm building a bed that.
I was gonna say, oh, the Murphy bed, there you go.
Yeah.
So we haven't tricked out the second floor of the EMS side yet. That will out there.
No, I don't think put anybody up there.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that segues into, when do we need our next meeting?
correct.
Exactly. They don't have the old schedule. That's,
I think,
There it
have a
is.
copy of
I think
the old one?
yeah, just give me that. Well, while you're looking for that, I can hand these out.
Okay,
Yes.
Here's the budget
This here.
calendar
right.
that we had from last year. It's just for everybody to take a look, see the calendar and also the budget package.
Thank you.
So that way there, we can make any changes that we.
Oh, well, you don't need last year's, you got this year's. In draft. You know, I efficiently put away those notes. So that-
So these are actually, all these are 2021 dates.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I haven't changed any of them.
Oh, I just remembered Mary saying to add the, that's on.
There's a couple of deadlines we do have to adjust to it, but this is just as in we printed we can get it out. So hopefully we can. Unfortunately, by the
No
time
luck
it's
finding
like
it.
right around the corner.
From last year.
Sorry?
No luck finding her.
No, I
That's good.
cleaned up all my papers about a month ago.
See, that's the problem.
Well, I have
Clean
them,
up
but I
all.
have them in a folder and they're, I didn't.
And what the dates were that we met? We go up online, should be able to see on the minutes, that would have all the posting.
I'll tell you what I'm remembering from conversations last year is that we wanted, actually the last 2 years, we wanted to have an earlier start than we had previously, right, going back to Buzz's days, right, so.
Okay, so when, I think one of the things is we need to know when this year are they required to have, or is everybody supposed to have their budget submitted?
Deadline is.
Don't we back it up from town meeting, and then you go 60 days?
Well, we
And then-
actually,
November
Well,
third.
that would be, yeah.
yeah, what we've been trying to do is get it done as early as possible. I
Okay,
know last year, the reviews were what was coming out in October, the beginning of the October, we'd start working on this, calendar. Make sure the budget forms are all ready to go out, and normally we finalize the budget package by the end of October. And then November 1st was when we had to make sure that the COLAs were ready, so we could get the budget packages together. And then I believe the kickoff was around the second week in November. Yep. And then you all started, I think, meeting on a regular basis once the budgets were coming in. I wanna say it was November 30th.
Yeah, I feel like we did a few in December for sure, like we.
Yeah.
November 30th was the deadline to have them in, and then it would go to me for just review quick, and then it would go to Kristen for her to be able to meet with all the departments, to make sure everything was good, and then it would go to you.
And I think what we did was, like, starting in December, we had a meeting scheduled every Wednesday. And then, but we didn't always hold the meeting if we didn't have anybody
Right.
actually scheduled. But that gave all the departments time
Yeah.
to,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have a few, I think we did like one in the beginning of November, so that was probably when we did the kickoff. And finance started on December 15th is when I was here, and then skipped a week. It was like every other.
Yeah, we did our first, budget review. What was a reasonable date before the holidays, and so we got one in before the, end of the year. So it looks like the first part we have to deal with is the budget guidelines. And, the last time it was like we targeted a meeting around October 6th. Trying to figure out the dates here, they all, oh, okay, this is.
These are the old ones, but it's pretty much.
You subtract one up, one digit to get a
Right.
legacy.
Yeah. So the budget, review of the forms will be through September through October. Then we'll establish the guidelines, which is this calendar. And then we'll review it with you somewhere around October 6th-ish. Okay,
Next,
This is a Wednesday.
next week,
That's next week.
yeah.
so with
Do
the,
we want to target more like, October 12th?
to give
2
you a
weeks
little
from
bit of
today?
time to look at things. Yeah.
The only caveat I have with that is I will be gone the last full week of October. That would be the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. I'm going on my honeymoon.
oh, congratulations.
you told us that,
I did, I told you right up front.
so
When is it again?
this is baked into her contract.
Okay.
It is.
It is.
I'm gone from October 22nd to the 27th.
Where are you going?
Bermuda,
Nice.
yeah, on a cruise.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
Hopefully Bermuda will still be.
I was gonna say, hopefully.
It's not floated out.
Redecorated.
There's a beach, I'm okay.
I mean, we could change the, finance committee meeting review and finalize the budget guidelines on the 19th of October.
Would you like to finalize, do we want the meeting though before that to do back-to-back weeks? 12th and the 19th. I guess normally we probably would have done next week and the 19th, but, we're a week late for this meeting. Does anybody have a conflict with either the 12th or the 19th?
I don't know yet. I will have one Wednesday, but I can't make it, but I still haven't gotten finalized date for that.
As of now, I don't.
Yeah, I'm not good on their Wednesdays.
I should definitely be able to make all of it, so it's really more kind of those outside kind of things that are gonna be harder for me to do.
Yeah, I'm good, Scott. I kind of reserved Wednesdays in budget seasons.
Yeah.
We're not in budget yet,
Yeah.
but it's looking good. Shouldn't be a problem.
All right, do we want to look at targeting back-to-back weeks then in October, the 12th and the 19th?
Okay.
So we can review on the calendar on the 12th and hopefully finalize the budget guidelines on the 19th.
Mhm.
That'll work.
Sure.
But that's all right, you can do it.
Assuming Columbus Day would be like the 10th before that, right?
Yeah.
I go-
Okay, we'll do that Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
That should
Yeah.
work. So schedule a meeting on October 12th and on October 19th. For that, getting the job
We have to
done
check the
immediately.
physical calendar.
So
You are so all over it. It's extraordinary. I'm not surprised.
No.
Just remarking.
I guess starting with the budget guidelines, Kristen and June, is anything you want from us initially to start, or do you want to be the one to provide the initial?
I think last year, I think Margaret had done it all, so I'm thinking that if we sit down and do it, cause I know like, November 2nd will be when personnel is gonna have to come up with COLA. Which we can't put the packages together until they do that, so we have to change the classification spreadsheet. So I'm almost thinking that we may have to, probably distribute, will probably not be until like November 7th. But I don't know if we wanna do an actual kickoff meeting, like we did last year.
I was gonna say,
So I don't know. What your thoughts on it, or what-
They think the distributing complete package on November 7th is what day of the week is that?
Well, 7th is a Monday,
Okay,
but
we usually do I'm not sure what the word was done. Pat.
we did a Tuesday kickoff.
Did we submit it? I mean, did that to everybody and then do a kickoff meeting, or you?
No, normally we do the kickoff, we hand it out when the items show up, and it's usually stick in the box. But also by the time we have the packages together, you'll to do up your recommendations to go into the budget package.
Right.
As well as the TA. In the budget package here, it actually, I gave you what last year's was, just so you can have an idea what we talked about, what we did, so.
So I think you and I can look a little bit more at the dates too, and give you a full proposed calendar when you come back on the 12th, if that works.
That sounds good.
Mhm.
Just wanted to get you to have a feel for it. And welcoming back from summer break.
Okay.
And then the forms are all just pretty much the same. I didn't know if there was any type of additional information you guys might like this year. Kristen really hasn't had a chance to take a look at it. It's pretty much the same, throw in the new calendar.
Yeah, I'm assuming everything will be submitted like always with the Google Drive, or set up a Google Drive for the next.
You're okay with uploading once they're all approved by you and the select board and uploading.
Yeah.
Into the Google
I
Drive,
can
so
do
that
that.
they have one that they can share.
Yep, absolutely. Gotten very comfortable with Google in the last couple of weeks. Mary has been an excellent teacher. I've used Gmail, but I haven't gotten so much into the Google Docs piece of it, but I'm getting to be a mini expert, so we'll be all set with that.
Probably, yeah, probably just an experiment, maybe just, as soon as you can, just create the location and, you know,
Yeah.
even
I'll
throwing
go
up some of
over
these
that.
documents so we can see them, and
Yeah.
if there's anything that's, everybody's somehow, somebody will have an issue of not having permissions. I don't know how it makes a Google thing, so.
Yeah, we'll work on it. We're gonna, Mary's a whiz at Google, so. she'll-
I found, and Margaret worked it out once we figured out what it was, but I have Charter email, which I use, which is my official sort of email address for the committee. But for me to do things with Google Docs, I need to use a Gmail account sometimes.
Oh, I was gonna say, not anymore. There's
Maybe-
now a way,
Maybe that's been fixed.
I believe it's.
But
been
that's why I
fixed.
couldn't access in the beginning.
Okay, I'll
So we'll
talk
have
to,
Run a couple
Yeah,
of
we'll
trials.
do some
there.
trials.
And I gave Margaret my Gmail address. Which you can have, it's Board of the Lawyer, really easy. I use it a lot because it frightens people.
Sets the tone right off the bat.
It
doesn't it?
does. Right out of the,
Yep, just.
right out of the
right out
gate, don't even think
Yep.
about it. Anyway.
Actually, that reminds me, I need to give you my new email address too. I'm using a Gmail one, more than, the charter.
Oh, you sent us a note about that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I know you've added me, everybody else, at least in FinCom, has me covered, but I
Yeah.
know.
Well,
maybe I
it
should send to-
changed, we were on email thread, so I just changed it over,
Oh, okay,
so.
maybe I should send it to Mary, does she cover that, or who would be the best person to
Yep.
generally get me replaced? I
Especially-
sent both emails,
especially if you're gonna be
not
so-
like, but.
So in the organizational point of things, I bumped into for some reason, it's a description of us, I think, and it's out of date on the town website. So,
I would say if you can just email Mary with all your updated information, because she can actually go on the website.
And we are
Like
working
it-
on some updates to the website as we speak. so-
it shows our terms as having expired last year.
That's why
one
I
thing.
don't do going by that.
I know, I know.
Can't leave.
But that is that's what's posted on the website, so it needs a little brush up, you know, it's and
We'll take a look at that.
yeah, I don't. It's like finding a vice chair for this committee, it's like. Who's gonna go in there and tinker with the website stuff?
I'm not gonna tell everyone here that I know Civics Plus really well because Peg told me not to, but, and I'm being recorded. We will work
Speak
it out.
softly, Kristen, speak softly and we'll come through, there we go, all right. Yeah, we need a little picking up of crumbs, it's pretty, spotty.
And if there's anything else you want up there, any narrative documents, anything like that, if you just put it in an email to me and Mary, we can get it up there.
Well, your address change is gonna be really important as your chair now, so. if
That's what
anybody
I'm
wants to
saying,
hit you-
will I be able to, once it's updated, will I be able to go in, list the, agenda and stuff like that? Were you? Did you
No,
have access?
I never
Really?
had access to.
I've been
Okay.
doing it, but you can ask for,
Well, I think once I get, because of why I had looked on it before, because I still have an account, but you have to be listed as chairman or, secretary.
Oh,
On
you're
the-
talking about my town government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Night of government, to be able to go in and just,
That's me.
It's in our-
I sent an email to Eloise and she got me set up,
Exactly.
it's, yeah, so.
Yeah, Eloise handles all of the posting piece of it, so if you email her, she can get you an account through that, my town.
Yeah.
Code.
I have an account, I just didn't have permission.
Oh.
I
well,
don't
she
I
can
still
get
have an account from the previous.
She can get
time,
you authorized. and
Yeah.
approved.
But I,
Yeah.
right, I, pretty much useless because you go
But
in
you
there.
want him to be added, right? You don't wanna lose. Or you wanna lose or.
No, we should both be able to do it.
Okay.
because,
Ideally, yes.
Yeah.
Good, I was gonna say, make sure you say that to Eloise, yeah.
Not a replace, but I have to.
Yeah,
Share the wealth.
well, the most important thing is, it doesn't matter if you have to cancel a meeting, because you can do that whenever, but if you have to make an agenda change or room change, Zoom change, whatever, you have to do that within a certain amount of time. That's where. Be helpful to have a second person who can do it.
Anything else we need to talk about that's future stuff
Okay.
before we get to June?
Can I just backtrack? We just set, we only set for the 2 meetings in October
I
for
think
now.
just for two for now.
Okay. And so I reserved the room across the hall for that.
So it looks to me like, I remember we had last year a budget meeting in December. Was that a preliminary one with the school board that came in early?
Yeah,
And I think the fire chief wanted to come in early, but then I'm showing, my email is showing me January 5th, we started with police
That's right.
library.
Right, we moved
So
these back.
But I
At
feel like
most, we
did
had
get
one
some-
meeting in December.
Correct. Yeah, it was, we actually met here before the, moving to virtual, we, with, that was fire, and I think it was the assessment.
Yeah,
Yes.
Normally it was fire and police, but.
Yeah,
because
yeah, it
we
was the
gave
assessment,
Police the extra time.
I think you did December 29th, and then you also did 15th.
We did do December 29th. Thought it was
I don't.
before
we don't
Christmas
have-
week.
it's to be minutes from the 20.
We didn't think we
Well,
did
no, we
actually.
did. It was Julie's minutes.
I'm pretty sure we would.
Well, it was the 15th. And then on the 5th.
Yeah.
And then it was like-
Except for the one Stan could get out of.
I don't know, Stan actually did that.
I'm pretty sure we did. Pretty sure we got out of one of them. I think I tried to get out
Oh,
of two.
yes, you did. I
think we
remember
had-
that,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
I remember that one, she says.
Yes, I do. I don't think there's anything we need to do.
It's a tough sell, as I recall. Janet really wanted to meet.
All right, so. Nothing else? June can give us. a
Yeah, you had
report.
something for us,
I
right?
did, just to let you know, I did send you out an email, a quick email to let you know that, Chief Clark has extended his contract through the end of December. And with that, that means that we will need to have his replacement. And we, the select board, have contracted with MRI to do the search. And that is going to cost $12,995 to do so, and it was not budgeted for. So they wanted me to bring it to you, to see what your thoughts were on it. The ideal situation would have been we budgeted for it under the consulting, under the board, select board. And right now, there's no way for me to say that there's extra money there, because currently they do pay certain things out of it. And there is currently $18,000 in the account. Roughly, they spend approximately $2,000 to $3,000 a month coming out of there, so they do have a couple of months worth. The MRI is going to be asking for a deposit. I'm not sure exactly when they're gonna require that deposit. It's not until after they place the ads, you do that when they place the ad, which will be $6,000. So we probably can cover it out of that line item for a short period of time, but there is nothing budgeted for it, so they are gonna run short in that line item if that's the chosen spot to take it from.
That's consulting for the select board.
Yeah,
So that's got 20,000 for the year. Yeah,
right now, though, it's down to 18,
it's
but.
down to 18.
So, I mean, we can take some of it, the deposit out of there at this point. I didn't know what your thoughts were as far as, I don't know if there's gonna be any money left in the fire department to help offset it.
Yeah, a little early to tell.
But I'm thinking that we'll probably have to do some sort of a reserve fund or something, probably, October. End of October, possibly November. So at the next meeting, we may have to ask, but I wasn't sure on exactly what your thoughts were on.
Well, if I may, my question would be is, so was this not expected that his contract would be up? Was it, did we,
I don't honestly have an answer for that. I don't know if it was just one of those things that we thought about it, but nobody budgeted for it any
Yeah.
place.
I just didn't know what our
cause I know.
thinking was on the time.
We did recently just, do an extension for him to stay for a little bit
Yeah.
longer. And he was able to extend it, through December, cause his contract was actually supposed to expire in June. So, we got it extended.
So, yeah, probably should have thought of, but,
And this is who we've used in the past, right?
It is, they actually, talked a little bit about the items and they did cut it down a little bit. They did cut it down a little bit, it was originally like 13.5 or something. So they did take a couple of items out of it, so it would be a little bit less. But they pretty much do all of the work.
And their background check is the most extensive thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was 17 pages to fill out. The whole thing took about 4 hours to do, so they really dot their i's and cross their t's. So I don't know if you're happy with the choice yet, you know. You've got some
We'll let you-
time to
we'll let
figure it
you
out, but you let me know, but,
by the budget kickoff.
yeah, so,
We'll have-
Maybe another week or so.
yeah, one more time.
They are very thorough, which is important.
Well, we'll make our decision after we see the background check ourselves.
Well, review the 17-page document.
How about that?
And so the date, we need to do the initial fee by what day?
We actually don't have a date.
We don't have a
They-
date,
They've
sorry.
already signed the contract.
Right.
I
I believe it's a month after they start the advertising process.
think
It's
yeah,
right around that date that I read in the contract.
so probably within the next month or so, we should be able to cover that out of there right now.
Did you say do you know what, did we end up with anything in consulting last year?
I'll have to look, I honestly don't remember now.
In consulting,
Just
For
that
like-
supplement, that consulting line item, if we've not typically, I know we don't know whether we'll spend it all, I just was curious as to
For
whether
some reason,
we.
I can't remember if we had to actually put money into that last year. But I don't remember if it had to do with.
Some
Replacing
Maplewood stuff.
Margaret.
Okay,
That's where all of Maplewood
Yeah,
comes out of there,
Maplewood.
and it varies. And that's what I was trying to figure out is, okay, how much does it actually?
Right.
total? But, it's usually around between 2,000 and 3,000, so it depends on how much it actually is, as to how long we could go before we need to ask.
yeah,
I seem to recall that we had split out expenses in consulting. Am I thinking of the wrong?
No, you are correct, before it was all in the selectmen's expenses, and then it was switched out, so that it was separated.
So
So
that-
it used to be in legal.
We have a separate, I don't think we have a separate line for legal, do we? Oh, we do, legal
Yeah.
expenses, there it is. 50,000.
so we budgeted 20,
I mean, 12 is a huge amount.
Yeah.
If we're talking a couple of thousand. Regularly, so.
Well. I think it's okay to spend what's in there, and then when we come to the place where there's no money in the consulting line for the select board, then we do
We just didn't.
the
wanna do it.
transfers we need to do then.
Yeah, we just didn't wanna do it, and then all of a sudden, when the time comes, you not be aware of it, or
Yeah.
what the thought process was. I don't know of any other place that we can take that money from. Other than if fire has a little bit of extra at the end of the year, but by then, we'll probably have already had paid the full amount.
So it's the select board that does the hiring in this, with the assistance of
Yes.
everybody else, right? So I don't mind spending their money. And if they didn't think about it, oh, well, that's okay. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't think about, I'm not being critical, it's just,
Yeah,
fill it in later, I'm sure.
yeah, unfortunately, budget changes was fixes.
It was a hard year last year, very hard for many reasons.
All right, so you'll give us an update in October.
I will keep you updated as we go along,
yeah,
probably.
I think at this point, right, it's just more of kind of an FYI,
It is, and on that same line, if you don't have any other questions on that, I have another one to. Just for fun.
we only allotted you the
Because we haven't seen
7:45
it in
times.
so long. Police chief came in to see me today, yesterday, to let me know that right now, he is looking at, because he is down actual officers, he's been using what he can for, part-timers, but he's been also using overtime to cover. So right now, he's, don't shoot me, but, he's looking at approximately $16,000 to $18,000 possible short.
For what time
Out.
period?
By the end of the year is what he's.
End of, end of,
projecting.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah, so that's what he's looking at right now, he'll keep an eye on it, he'll keep us posted.
What are we short? One officer or two or how?
We're down to, we have one
Soon to graduate.
to graduate and one that's just getting ready to go into the academy.
How long does that take?
A year,
A year?
start to finish, because then there's assessments and ride-alongs and all of that.
So,
So is that the short, total combined between, full-time and part-time, or just, part-time?
the way he was talking about it was gonna be in the overtime, is where it looks like it's coming from. But also keep in mind, we do have not yet signed union contracts. So we don't have exact numbers there either.
Right.
So-
But you say, I know it's overtime, it's adding up, making it cost more, there's no overtime line item in it.
No,
right?
no, it's all
part-time. and full-time.
full-time.
Right.
So it'd be full-time. He's trying to use part-time officers as much as he can, but, not always doable.
But he's backfilling salary that would normally go to full-time
Yeah.
officers, so it's actually, is he paying it out of the full, he's paying it out
He's
of
paying out of
part-time?
It depends on which one is covering. If we have part-timers covering for full-time officers and part-time.
Okay.
So I would like to say that we could possibly, at the end of the year, make a line item transfer, but it's not a definite yet until we, of course, have the contracts and we see what the rest of the brings. It's another one of those
That's,
for us to
Mhm.
keep on the radar. I think that's all the joyous news that I have.
Lopping those sticks of dynamite on us.
Ah, no,
Quick duck.
it's early though.
That's true.
Wasn't there a, unemployment one too? 7,
There was something about that.
We do, there is also a potential for, a large amount of unemployment due to, a loss. So, Dennis is using a different company to pay for the unemployment, so I'm not really sure on all the details of it right now.
what, when you say, I mean, so there's,
There is a definite potential on one, person that may go over, what we have budgeted in the line item depending on how long it goes for. So I will check with Dennis to see how much he thinks is gonna be needed in the unemployment plan.
is it, so we've terminated somebody, or how is it they're collecting on the unemployment?
Yeah,
Okay.
last year.
Right, or at least, what happened last fiscal year, or is it?
It did, but it's carryover, so.
Carry over this
Yeah.
fiscal year? Okay.
Well, I try to do it when it happens so that I remember it.
Mhm.
Sometimes I lose it.
Do we have a potential that we'd be like 10,000 short? Did I read that, or 35,000 short, there's only 25,000,
There's only 25,000.
and we're thinking it could be up to 35,000 or
We'll
so.
have to just keep an eye on it. I'll actually try to send it in an email. I don't know how often you would.
Okay,
So we'll try to keep those three.
all right. Was there anything else?
I don't
Don't let her think.
know. As long as you've all met Kristen.
All right, anything from our mail?
This is all the stuff from last year. I don't know what we do with it.
You do have your dues.
We have our
The dues are
dues.
on- that was,
Yeah, so July 1st. twenty twenty-two,
There it is,
and this is July 13th, 2022.
that first page.
That's what the scheduled bills payable is.
We need to write down and make the request, yeah, so that's.
So we would write down the amount on the person that we're paying. And the dollar amount, and then you would vote on the dollar amount that you would approve to pay for it. This for, your choices.
I don't know what you think, I think we're pathetic.
Yeah. 163.
What's our department?
I'm looking, that's exactly what I was doing, Scott, because it's in here, I remember we had a cute little budget, we're not public safety. We're not,
June knows it, 132.
Is it 132, 131? I think it's
I'm looking,
Reserve.
I'm writing this in pen, so I need to know. this one.
I gotta be here. Income expenses, $175.
The bill is 163.
Look at us. Oh, the number, you want the account number is 131. Who's writing?
131?
131, 570. I think that's what you want here, right?
Yeah. Well, we might have the expenses.
Yeah.
5,700.
163 bucks.
This is probably other expenses, right? Like services, supplies. Yeah, other expenses. Okay. What was it, 160?
163.
163.
We're 12 bucks ahead of the game. 175, so you said.
And what dues is this? The
Association of Town Finance Committees.
That will allow you access to, I think, all of the meetings.
Full range of services that I have not taken any advantage of.
They now have a lot of online courses if you're interested, you know, in spare time.
Right.
Boy,
Mhm.
if you want to expand.
I am interested. I just
Does
never
does
seen
anybody else get the Division of Local Services email, or you signed up for it? Should I just send one to the rest of you?
Can
that I
you do
get?
that? Because,
Yeah, and then you can like figure
Yeah.
out how to sign up maybe,
yeah,
because all of the courses, they're all, and then all the other stuff, like the ARPA, when the ARPA funds are released, it
Mhm.
just, I get it, and I don't, I have like an eighth of an eyeball on, I don't
Mm.
really, some of them I put aside, but
It's
mostly I don't.
16 more than that.
I mean, they come not daily, but
Do they?
you get a couple a week, yeah.
Mhm.
Is that
There's a lot
about,
of-
is that
yeah.
what you get?
There's a lot of online stuff now too that they have if you're interested. Let's see.
But those emails give you the link, so if something comes up, they had one, I forget what it was.
We have a new one coming up, what's new municipal law is coming up. But they've also got one, I think, for the recap sheet thing. There's something going on with that too. but I-
And they're doing another program at Holy Cross again, is that the same one that I was at that you were at
I
a
think
couple
so.
years ago?
I think so.
Yeah.
I go and usually you find something different that's exciting.
So do we give the invoice back to you attached to
Yeah.
this? Is that
Yeah.
what we do?
You'll have to vote on it.
And we vote on it and sign it.
it.
So I make a motion that we pay our dues $163.
And I second that motion.
Right, any discussion? All right, those in favor?
I,
All right, and then, I got a line for 3 signatures. But,
Jim, what do we need to do with all of these prior? Do we need to put them in our FinCom file?
The copies of the reserve fund transfers you may want, a copy of, the other stuff, it's kind of late.
the file, you have to see the file.
Well, that's, yeah, so that's pretty good.
That's the mail fee.
That's the mail. Oh, I have the file key in my truck.
I should have a mail key.
Yeah, for the mailbox.
Put the
Yeah.
mailbox right out here.
Oh, really?
Not about gender, it's about, which is also not about gender.
So just the reserve
So you wanna
fund.
know the signatures, Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need-
Yeah, all the year-end forms that we're doing July 15th. Recycle.
right.
You want me to sign this?
How about if there's only?
Just make a
three lines?
4th line down there.
Okay.
That'll just make your signature stand out more.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
You just hand it to you now?
Yeah.
Or you want in your mailbox?
Can I see it for a
In
second?
her mailbox.
What was the,
You,
I need the exact name of. Thank you.
or who it is, Association of Town Finance.
Sush.
Did it come in a paper to update it with your email addresses or anything? Yeah, something. I don't think they sent out.
These are- I think those are gonna be the other, it's the FYI kind of stuff, but I'll recycle.
Doesn't hear about email though, it's all paper, in the hamburger.
Yeah, cause I was gonna say, usually I get.
Maybe Jim suggested that we keep that on file.
Too.
I do have the file.
Are you okay?
Thanks.
Thank you, Fred.
Yeah. So if you want, I can just.
Yeah, usually they send out-
Well, you can do it to you.
Oh, you would get it in separate mailing.
I do, yeah,
Yeah.
because sometimes you guys.
Cover
forget
it next
every
meeting.
now and then.
There you go.
Mhm.
So do we need a motion to adjourn, or are you, anything else, Mr. Chairman?
Anything else, anybody?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Since Janet's not here.
No, you
since
don't need-
Janet's not here, no, we don't even need a second.
No, you don't need a second. What time is it? 8:20?
8:29.